make sure we're recording, and we are. Army looks good here. The Strength and AI mod is loaded. He's still forming his army. Odrissa. Yeah, we got a good garrison there. All right, welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, and especially advanced battlefield command and tactics. And it's been a little while. It's been a couple, 3 days since I've had a chance to play and narrate, and things have happened on the map, probably because I'm not going to save all that happened. We had an extensive war with Khazate, and we were just on the edge of destroying them when we had a rebellion in Odok. You can see we're at war with Khazate. I started recording today based on this. The Southern Empire just declared war on us. Regia, she's still kicking, this Regia gal. Almost 70 years old. You can see their total strength is a problem for us. And a week ago game time, the Sturgeons declared war on us as well. We've had a couple small battles against the Sturgeons, and still the Valandian fucks are at war with us, demanding a huge amount of money. This insolent Erdogan motherfucker. Now the Aserai, again, are our friends at this stage, right? Guzid is starting to get stronger. They're paying us 2,800 tribute a day, so as long as they're paying us money, my good friend Guzid and I can have some beers, right? He puts the tab, and we can all live happily ever after. In this campaign, we're going to be quasi-allied with the Aserai. And again, they are pushing into the south here. Looks like they were at war with the Southern Empire for like a week or two, and now they are at peace. However, the Aserai are now at war with the Sturgeons, and we're also at war with the Sturgeons, so we have a like enemy. Now I want to show you this guy from time to time. This is our only clan, right? Our only kingdom clan. Jaim the Prince actually has a larger army. I guess it's not larger than ours, but it's a pretty large army, right? We've been feeding him influence, feeding him gold, feeding him troops, and he has now formed a good-sized army. Now Danustica is starving, so we got to get down there and make sure the peasants get bread and circuses. And we've got rebels on the agenda in this episode, right? We might attack Oneira. It says it's rebelling. The Sturgeons are right on the edge of our border here, but I want to get these fucking rebels out of our kingdom. This Vostrum rebelled a long time ago, and I've been so busy with the Khazate that I haven't dealt with it. Now, we'll see what Jaim the Prince does here. He's got almost as large an army as us, right? And it's not as strong as ours. Of course, we've got companions. We probably have higher end troops. But I've been feeding him, right? He's got 2 of our companions in his army. And I'm not thrilled about that because a lot of times the AI does dumb shit. You can never be sure what they're going to do. Oneira is being sieged by the by the Aserai. That's good, right? That means the Aserai are essentially helping us here in this fight. And I know I've been trying to make this campaign extra difficult intentionally. I've been also saying all along that the Aserai are going to be uneasy allies for us. Once we had a kingdom carved out, once we had some territory and enough strength, they would be allies. Now, the Sturgeons are going to be in this area. The question is whether the Aserai can hold them back, right? It's kind of like it's a 2-on-2 almost, right? We're fighting the Southern Empire, the Aserai fighting the Sturgeons. And of course, there'll be some fighting around the margins of the battle here. Now, I'm going to do a couple quests just because I think I have some time to do this kind of stuff. You always want to do this kind of stuff, especially with your capital city, right? Danustica is our capital city. And so I want to make sure I'm doing these quests, and the merchants, every time we come to this city, just load us up on troops, right? It's essentially, you got to create enough relationship with these guys that these guys just bring forth all their sons and whatnot, ready for war. Now this, of course, this is just one of the outlying villages, but it's the same idea, right? Whether it's Danustica or these nearby villages to your capital, you want to make sure that your troops are readily available, right? And of course, if you have 100 relations with the guys, they just bring forth everything they have. Pick up some troops here. I'm gonna do a little bit of management of the castle here. You can see it's starving. We're trying to get the prosperity up, but I've also been trying to save food. I've actually been kind of not intentionally starving the people, but neglecting the people so that we can pile up food. I think we have more than 25,000. We've got to also do a little bit of horse maneuvering here. I've got an injured horse. Actually, I have no horse for some reason, so we've got to do a little bit of maintenance. I got to put some armor on this motherfucker. But I want to keep pushing the food up in Danustica, both in the stash and in the city itself. That way it's not vulnerable to attack. That way if it gets besieged, it's days and days before the garrison starts to starve. and see what they got here. Oh, we want to dump off some of this shit too, some of our elite high-end gear. Want to make sure if we do get captured, which is a distinct possibility at this stage, right? The enemy armies we're facing are huge, that we don't lose all this elite gear. I've got this balanced Jareed. I guess I might as well equip that. And let's feed the people here. 28,000 we've been able to pile up here. This has been a 20-year process. Don't expect to do this in your first 3 years of your campaign, but whenever you can, try to make a giant food stash like this, right? This is imperative to having a really strong capital city, and ultimately what I'm hoping is that the militia here gets 600, 700, 800 troops. That way we can really minimize how many troops we put in a garrison. We're probably going to have to thin it out when we start doing destructive campaigns. The campaigns will be where we head to Sturgia and attack them for like a month straight, right? And we won't come home. We won't be able to tend to the citizens to make sure that they're all being fed. So dumping a bunch of food on the peasants here, and that food should start to stabilize there. Now you can see Wazuban, his skills along with his steward is really approaching 330. So it also helps us to have all the food types. Let's see, do a few of these little quests. I don't really want to lose vital companions. We've got a couple new companions, warrior companions. We've been having an awful lot of death in this campaign, and it seems kind of unlucky. But I won't whine like a bitch, of course, because I have the mod that increases death turned on, right? We have death for all. It's a mod that increases the amount of noble deaths turned to a higher level. We're probably getting 2 to 4 times the rate of normal vanilla Bannerlord death for your nobles. Another quest here. This is really nice to be able just to assign companions. Go do these quests, right? You fucking delegate some shit here. Tell these motherfuckers you guys get the drudgery and we get all the benefits, right? It improves our relation. We get all kinds of money and loot and shit like that. There's nothing here to recruit. Nothing more anyways. So off to Vostrom, right? Now, I'll be keeping an eye on Jaim the Prince this whole time, right? So the Aserai sieging Oneira, we'll see what he does, right? It's always a worrisome thing. Man, the Aserai have some big armies too. They have recovered quickly, but they also, I think both of those guys are leaders of minor clans. Let's take a look here. Yep, Dacis. So if we could talk to these guys, we will definitely steal them. Let's see this other guy. I'm pretty sure Festos is the leader of the Elephtheroi, or however you pronounce that shit. He is. So either one of these guys would be lovely. Of course, usually there's an amazing tendency for these guys to run away from your companion on the battle on the campaign map, and almost like they were listening to me. They just fled as fast as they could. They ran to the south. So we're being besieged. Akalat is being besieged. Actually, that's good, right? That might present an opportunity for Jaim the Prince to get some experience, right? This guy's already defended 3 or 4 locations. He has yet to be captured. So he's got he's a young Mike Tyson. He's like 4-0 or something like that. 900 troops is not amazing. But hopefully he can help us. And what I'm really thinking is that he can kind of slow down things in the north a little bit. Just hold back the Khazate for a little while we take care of Ostrom. Now, inevitably, he'll get captured, or we will break his army up, right? If his numbers start to get really reduced, we'll break it up and refeed him a bunch of troops. I will be talking extensively about micromanaging your vassals, especially your vassal armies. Maybe not in this episode, but in upcoming episodes. This is just a critical component of the game, and unfortunately, Nevig. No, there's no clans here. I got all these clans, and we've got none of the leaders here. How about this guy? Probably not. Vic Other. So I try to memorize these names just so if you see them on the campaign map, you can add them. Of course, we need allies in this fight badly. We're up facing huge enemy forces. Who knows what the Southern Empire is going to do, how many forces they're going to have, but her force is manifestly stronger than ours, hugely stronger. There's our good friend Guzid, right? He's picking up the tab, right? 3,000 dinars a day. This guy's fucking shipping over to us for peace. Now, I'm gonna repeatedly ask for peace with the Aserai at this stage. If they declare war on us, I'm just gonna go in and shovel them money. That initial time when we became independent, I definitely wanted to basically have the the semantic effect of him giving us money for peace, kind of like a power tripping thing here, right? We're all silverback gorillas. Some of us just have iPhones. This guy's defending? He is. So he's attacking. I didn't see who is attacking Aserai Castle, but he's defending. So that's good. Usually if the AI is taking those kind of steps, they have a higher chance of success because they're usually engaging by choice. We'll see if he survives and makes it over to Akalat. Meanwhile, we're going to hit Vostrom here, right? This is why it's so important to micromanage those other companions. I feel a little bit like a nervous, father or mother, like a nervous parents sending their kid off to war because they can get destroyed. They can get captured, just like real life, horrific things, terrible things can happen. And you worry that you're going to, like Saving Private Ryan, that you're going to get a knock on the door from a bunch of guys in dress blues, and then that very unfortunate things are going to happen. This is good though. Aserai Castle's being defended. This is, by the way, this is a good way to spy. This shouldn't be possible, but we have this little satellite link, and there he goes. He's victorious. We get this little satellite link through the diplomacy menu. We can essentially get an exact count of how many troops are in his army, even though he's hundreds of miles away. I guess the pigeons are landing on our shoulder, or the crows, a la the Hobbit, right? They're landing on our shoulder. You still have 900 troops? That was a bad impersonation of a crow. You guys get the idea. It's an odd way that you're allowed to spy. So the Aserai are going, I love it. They're boring up into the Sturgeon territory here. They're sieging Melian Castle now. They're sieging Sironia, or sieging Oneira. Down to 800. This shouldn't be too big of a problem. However, these rebel fucks, it's surprising how many troops they recruit. I don't know if the garrison all of a sudden, maybe it's like a cheat code, they start getting huge numbers of garrison troops here. The garrison here is 350 troops. Up there they're sieging Sironia. It's almost like I manifested that. I thought they were sieging Oneira, and then I said Sironia, and there they go. They're sieging Sironia. It's almost like your phone that when it listens to you and you talk about, a stand-up paddleboard, and you get 337 ads for stand-up paddleboards. There's some suspicious shit going on in the world here. So we're gonna blast these fucking rebels. I have half a mind to execute their leaders, but I'm probably not gonna bother. We just want our city back here, right? This city rebelled quite some time ago. They seized this shit. They took, I think it was Coraine. They took her prisoner and shit, and they've been essentially holding out this city for weeks now, getting stronger, building up the garrison and shit like that. And these motherfucking rebels gotta go. Incidentally, you fellas may or may not have picked it up. There's a pretty good chance that I do a peasant revolt as a side series from this campaign, right? I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but look for that in the following months. It may not happen. We shall see how much time I have. My wife and I are still trying to buy property. We're still in the going steady stage of buying property. It's a very convoluted and complex and lengthy process. All kinds of fucking inspectors and permits and shit like that. But I do have a mind and a desire to do a peasants revolt in this campaign. We shall see. Look at these motherfuckers. They have so many troops in their garrison that they don't have room for them to stand in the courtyard. These motherfuckers are standing outside here trying to hold out against this barrage. They're about to get obliterated by javelins and shit. This fucking guy. Have a javelin right in the face, you piece of shit. Fucking militia trying to come after Wazu. Kill them all, right? This guy. All right, so we've got our javelin shops working here. I got 1,000 infantrymen firing up javelins, and their poor militia is under a maelstrom. You almost feel for these guys, right? Like it's militia and shit like that. And all they're really doing is they're fighting for wages, right? This is the time of like the trades guilds, where the trades guilds would basically go to the city and say, look, we don't have enough wages for the fucking guys making shoes and belts and fucking swords. You got to raise their wages. And the city would be like, fuck no. They'd be like, laugh out loud, you stupid peasants. You'll do what you're told. So the trades guild started forming in the about this era, the year 10th, 11th, 12th century, and these trade guilds were effectively intentional monopolies, right? To basically limit other people building shit or making goods in their city or bringing them in for other cities, right? They had all kinds of tariffs and shit today that would be totally illegal. But these trades guilds were just using the tools they had back then to try to carve out a way for themselves. And eventually, just like most organizations, it got too strong. And then corrupt and too big, and it started actually becoming a little bit of an oligarchy itself, where they were swaying elections and causing revolts and becoming oppressive fucking almost monarchy forms themselves, right? Some of the leaders of these trade guilds became incredibly rich and way too powerful, which is of course still the thing today. I have a saying that I like, that unions and church, all of that shit, even governments, they're all good until they get too big. And once they're too big, then they're bad, right? These mega churches where the pastor flies in on a fucking $30,000 or $30 million plane and shit like that. This is not the word of God, right? This is not a community church. This is a disgrace, right? These guys are basically frauds and that kind of shit. My pairing is not working like I want. I wonder if I have that setting got reset. Anyways, just like unions, when the unions almost bankrupted Chevy and Ford and stuff like that, I'm very pro-union, but unions can definitely be too strong. They can get to the point where the union body essentially does illogical shit because people inherently are greedy. They want to get paid more. No one ever says, hey, we'd love a pay cut. But all of that shit, when it gets too big, just like the United States government, there's fraud and all kinds of chicanery. When it gets too big, it's a problem. And the same thing happened with the trade guilds. All right, what the fuck is the delay here? I'm having to tell all these stories here. I've got elite units, and you guys can't push through this fucking militia. I was gonna keep wanting to say the Jarl. Wazuban's got to do it all, right? We're gonna come up with a good nickname for Wazuban. Some kind of pompous title, or maybe not. Maybe there won't be a title. Maybe Wazuban will just be Commander Wazuban or something like that. Something fairly practical and humble. Maybe he won't be Wazuban the Great. He'll just be Wazuban, Commander Wazuban, or Captain Wazuban, or something like that. This is unbelievable. Look at their militia. I told you, man, these guys, it's almost like they fight like they're possessed. Normally, we would literally blow through this city. Look at this guy up here. This guy standing on the wall like a boss. He's like, this is my fucking city. That's hilarious looking. He's just standing on the ramparts like Aragorn at Helm's Deep. These motherfuckers are fighting like wolves to hold on to the city. Now, this is realistic, too, by the way. They would all be executed or burned at the stake or horrific shit. Rebels in the medieval era got the absolute worst of it, right? There was a series of rebellions in the 1500s called the Peasants' Revolt. Most of them were in the area we know today as Germany. So it was kind of in that vicinity of Europe. Of course, it wasn't Germany yet. Germany wasn't united until, the mid-1800s. Bismarck and whatnot. Thank you, Frederick the Great. But these fucking peasants went crazy all through Europe, just like these guys. I can't even get into the gatehouse. They are just fighting like wolves to hold on to the city. And these peasants were rampaging throughout Germany, right? Demanding food, demanding wages, demanding this tax go away and fucking this tax go away. Some of them were even like socialists, saying all land should be, community land. Of course, the nobles were like, yeah, come this way. Over here, we call this a noose. Well, the leaders of these rebellions got, eventually, of course, they were savage in their own way. They were executing nobles and shit like that. They got theirs in the end. And in one particular case, I remember they tied a guy, they pounded a metal stake into the ground, like 10 feet into the ground, chained this motherfucker to it, and then they started building up a fire in a big ring around the guy, right? Like a whole bunch of wood in a ring surrounding the guy. And then they just kept throwing, they called them faggots back then, unfortunately. I won't be using that term derogatorily. But basically, by the way, if you've never heard of that term, it's basically a stick, right? A faggot is a bundle of sticks. It's repeatedly said in like the Lord of the Rings. It's kind of funny. that used to not be the derogatory word it is today. Anyways, they built this fire up with this poor guy chained to a fucking post in the middle, and you can imagine what happened, right? Not only was he suffering all kinds of fucking heat, stress, and shit like that, because it took probably minutes or hours, but this guy was effectively roasted to death. Some pretty savage shit back then, especially for rebellions. And why did they do that? Of course, because that's the main thing that people, especially tyrannical people who want to stay in power, do. They rule by fear, right? There's not much more horrific shit than being, burned like that, basically cooked. And of course, the aristocracy would do shit like this to discourage rebels, right? The English treason laws, where they would like pull the guy's intestines out and then throw him in his face and shit like that, cut his genitals off and throw it in his face while he's burned alive and disemboweled. And the shit they did was absolutely savage. These supposed civilized cities, and their excuse was that they were trying to forestall future rebellions before they happened, right? It's basically rule by fear. If people are afraid enough of shit happening, then they generally do what they're told. All right, I digress. Anyways, these fucking rebels here, we're gonna say magnanimously that we turned these guys into trades guilds. We took the leaders of this rebellion and we gave them fucking some monopolies in the city to build us fucking cups and wooden shoes and shit like that. Instead, we put these guys to work. We basically were magnanimous and productive with it. Wazu is going to try to be a beneficent despot, right? He's going to try to be an enlightened despot here. All right, as is often the case, I've got this giant garrison to assemble and disassemble here. I'm going to probably snip this part out here. A little tiny break here. I got to take a piss, and then we will continue on here. Let's get a few of his points assigned here. This guy's brand new. I kind of feel like I'm doing him a disservice if he's got all these skills and perks and he's not putting the points on. In fact, let's give him max two-handed here, some athleticism. I want to do some of this stuff now, but I will try to save this stuff up too. I've gotten a habit of sort of doing those in 10-minute breaks or 10-minute periods, like every 3-4 episodes, right? We will cover our companion perks. All right, so looking pretty good here. We've got a handful of perks, but nothing critical. So Vostrum looks pretty good, right? There's 325 defenders. That's not great, but the food situation is better, and at least the rebellion is quelled. Fortunately, Poros is out there. They're the bastion of strength to the west, holding back the Valandians. Now, what's Jaime the Prince going to do here, right? Akalat is under siege. He already saved Akazur Castle. The Sturgeons are still working up there on Saronia. They took Oneira. I think it's our turn to go south. If you look at it, right, the Aserai and our smaller army here are going north. We're going to take advantage of this. We may only have a week before things either break down up north or whatever, but we're going to try to snatch that time. It's very important. Are they being attacked? That message is wrong, actually. That they're actually the ones that are attacking. Usually, if your armies are attacked, they're dead. It's one of those things. The AI generally, if they attack, they think they can win. So fortunately, Jaime the Prince's army there, they are defending Akalat. Akalat is under. So that's another party that's joining the siege. Now we want lake rats. That's right. This guy. So he's south. We're looking for the leader of one of these clans. Okay, we'll take Vostrum. We're not going to be giving away any more cities for a little while. We will develop another clan at some point, but not yet. I want to sort of get our legs under ourselves here first, stabilize things a little bit. Hey, it's our good friend Guzid. What's up, friend? I'm going to high five Guzid here as we pass him in the countryside. Guzid's been kind of like an enemy the last, 3, 4, 5 episodes, but we like this guy, right? Now that we've got independence, now that he sees us as a peer, just like Napoleon in 1809, everybody's fucking hugging him and shit. How you doing, man? Guzid, we like this guy, right? He's missing an eye. He's seen so much carnage. In fact, we'll do some family marriage. Oh, except you can't have Arwa, even though we like you, bud. We're not giving you Arwa. How much money has this guy got? I'm always curious to see with the nobles. 574,000. Oh, he's got 5 million gold. So he's got tons of gold. That's a good sign, right? That means the enemy lords also probably have tons of money.
Sorry.
I bet you're enjoying fighting other people there, huh, Guzu? It's a little easier than when you were fighting us. Little parting shot here. All right, so we're looking for Festos. We're looking for Dacis. We'll definitely take the Lake Rats on. We need some forces here because we're going to go harangue the Southern Empire. Unless something changes, like Danustica all of a sudden falling under siege. You know, the Khazate are fighting back, and the Khazate were on their deathbed. And I should mention this, in fact, because I'm probably going to edit a lot of that out. We almost had the Khazate dead. They had 1 city and 2 castles left, and Odok rebelled, and the Khazate had a huge amount of forces in their last city, so I decided to stop. I decided I couldn't advance anymore. Hey, this guy's in there, so he's nearby. We've got a bunch of guys that conceivably would join our kingdom here, but we've got to get to their leaders. Damn it. That guy is the leader, and I didn't quite catch him. I was fucking talking too much as usual. That's the thing, is the narrator, right? You're never sure how much you're supposed to talk or not, and when I'm caffeinated, my mouth just does its thing. Our fucking wives and daughters and shit are winning tournaments. I love to see that shit. They're getting skill points and money. Man, the Aserai have an incredible amount of troops. Everywhere I see, they have an army of 280, 290. They're going to need it, though, because the Sturgeons in this campaign are brutal. So these Southern Empire villages, of course, we have the luxury of just telling them, nah, we're not going to recruit troops. Give us your troops, right? This is by force. It's a strange process. Basically, if you don't own the village, you can just tell them, give us your troops. And then if you own it the next week, they're like, we're not giving you anything. Even though you own it, you can't. So for some reason, you can't do the fear thing on your own villagers. So like a nervous parent, right? He's sieging, attacking whoever's beautiful. Well, that's what the parent wants to see, right? Their children reporting that they killed the enemy, not the other way around. So Jaim the Prince, I'm going to say he's 5-0, and he is trucking his way through as a lightweight boxer in this campaign. Now, every village at this stage, I'm emptying it out. We're buying everything, right? Because we have virtually unlimited money. We're fucking printing dinars. I'm giving money away, basically. If Guzid didn't have enough money there, I was just going to give him money. We have so much money. The Valandians want peace, but they want us to pay. How about fuck you? Fuck no. Whoa. Okay. Southern Empire motherfuckers is coming. Let me sit up in my chair for this shit. We got some battle here. Grab yourself the tasty beverage here, because we're not letting these fucks go north. Fuck you. We're like Walter Sobchak in that scene with the fucking the anarchists in The Big Lebowski, where he's like, they're like, just give us what you have and we call it even. Fuck you, right? He's just a beast. He's not about to let them take his $9. And these Southern Empire, they're coming here to try to take our lunch money. Do I have anything to say? Yeah, you're a fucking dead man. I mean, it's a ferocious Southern Empire force here, but we don't give a fuck, right? Wazu Bon has a head of steam. He's got a giant afro. He fears nobody. In we go.
Fuck you.
Now, we have lost battles, but he is yet to be captured in this campaign. We would be captured here. We would not be able to escape. So this is a critical battle. We've got a little bit of a valley, a little V-shape there, a little bit of a higher ridge on the left. We could use that as a slight peekaboo ridge. I think that the main strategy here is going to be, again, to kite, pull forces in, and try to counterpunch. They're going to come in aggressively because they outnumber us 2-1. I think we're going to use that aggressiveness to their disadvantage, right? Let them come in, surround their infantry and obliterate it, hold back their cavalry. They had a huge amount of cavalry, and then deal with their horse archers before we turn our violence upon their army. We'd be going downhill. We might be able to get like a mega power charge down this hill. I want the 8th Corps, of course, with Wazuban, with his giant list of perks to be large, right? Anytime you have to decide. Now, Wazuban has a decreased melee damage, I think, so that's perfect, right? Look at that list of perks. He's basically going to be leading the heavy cavalry and the 8th Corps, our best cavalry. The 2nd is weaker cavalry, and we'll have, of course, the 3rd shock troops behind them. And I like to hold the left with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I do that numerically, but also it just makes sense, right? Shock troops behind cavalry with crossbow support. That looks good. 1st, 5th, and 6th offset a little bit to the right. And then we're going to have the 8th Corps off to the right as well. They will support the horse archers on the left. And see what it looks like here, right? This is going to be a fucking tough battle. The Southern Empire, at this stage, they've been winning battles for a long time. They completely obliterated the tough Phalandians. They obliterated them in the south and took their whole territory. The Southern Empire has all the way to Quayaz and Tubilis Castle, or however you pronounce that. They took all of that territory in like half a year. So at this stage, their lords are fucking high level. Their troops are high level because they've been winning battles. This is going to be a slugfest. I mean, the power bar says it's close, but, well, we'll see. I'm not going to do any prognosticating any more than I've already done here. Fucking Lord just roaring into our backfield, trampling our troops. You bitch. Alright, got some time here. Let's kill this fucking guy. Damn, they're moving fast. Yeah, well, and there's your Lord, right? 124 in the back. She would normally kill a Lord, and he just fucking shook his fingers no. Alright, let's square up the first here. Our horse archers are leading. There's going to be heavy cav behind it. It's just a question of how soon. And we're going to shred these guys with crossbow. You can see the crossbow bolts just raining through here. I'm cutting them down with my big, long pole sword. Chopping dudes in half. It's a pretty nasty weapon. It's really slow, but it virtually one-shots everything. And I'm slowly getting used to the speed. It is very slow, but even a slow weapon, once you get used to the speed, is pretty deadly. Alright, infantry coming up. They're a little bit broken, which is good. They will probably reform once we start hitting them with arrows. Here comes the heavy cavalry. 6th and 5th, we're moving back already. I'm just preemptively kiting. I've got the 1st in a square. We're going to start to stretch the 6th out on the enemy's left flank, our right flank. Over here, the square dragging towards the middle. Of course, most of this is your garden variety kill box. We've got crossbow now starting to get a good angle on them. Horse archers back here. They should be able to counter the enemy's horse archers. I got the 8th Corps following me. I wish the pole sword were just a little longer. It's amazing how many times I just miss. Of course, I'm not going to be making custom weapons. Not unless we're just getting crushed in this campaign. I know guys would love to see me do that. I'm aware it's an advantage. But obviously, I don't want to have too many advantages, right? I'm sort of playing this in a very high level of difficulty. We're sort of picking the benefits we get, right? Like having minor clans. Some guys will say, well, don't pick any minor clans up. Well, we're gonna. I like to have a bunch of Jawal and camels in the battle. All right, let's get the 2nd Division down here to push their archers back. The enemy's coming in here very smartly, right? They've got archers moving up aggressively. They're basically trying to counter our kiting here. Just going to try to push these archers back before we get back to the rest of the fray. I've got horse archers in the 8th Corps right here. Let's start to swallow up their main infantry. Their infantry's arriving at our infantry. Let's back it up in a square. I've got the 5th and 6th strafing them with brutal crossfire. Those guys there are just shredding them. Start getting the 6th behind them a little bit here. The 8th is hammer and anviled into the enemy's rear. Let's get the 2nd and 3rd over here to prep for a fucking sweeping attack. Right, we're going to drive these guys through like an angry fucking shock troop freight train. Right now, they could just attack because the enemy cav is in there so thick, but I'm going to use them on the enemy infantry soon. Get the horse archers. The horse archers are really vulnerable there to enemy infantry. They'll send the 8th to attack their archers, enemy archers rather. It's a mess right now, but believe me, there is a plan in action here. It just looks messy. I've got their infantry here in a big knot. We're going to swallow this up. I've got 3 main infantry divisions over here. The 3rd, 2nd is a cavalry line that will lead for the 3rd. The 1st can now be broken up and told to charge. And the 6th is coming in on the enemy left. Meanwhile, I've got the 8th Corps here right behind the enemy, fucking throttling them. Horse archers are shooting. Come with me, boys. It's time to eradicate this fucking main vanguard. It's all tough units, of course. It looks like our force, frankly. It's legionnaires and fucking palace guards and veteran infantry, veteran Aserai infantry, Manavliatons, motherfuckers. But we've got a beautiful position on them here. They're trying to regroup, and none of them are making it out, right? We've got the 8th Corps behind them. Their horse archers raining in damage. Now is our chance to counterpunch, right? We're going to start barreling down this hill. Motherfucking... They block a lot more, too, because, of course, the lords that we're facing have 270, 290, 3 whatever in weapon skill, and that means they have this huge list of perks. Their perk list is probably bigger than ours. Even our best companions, their perk list probably looks better. That's just the nature of this strength in AI. That's why these guys are so hard to kill. That's one fucking legionnaire, and he was holding back like 10 guys. I mean, that guy insta-dies in vanilla Bannerlord. All right, got a nice head of steam, just like I was hoping. We're running downhill. That means all our infantry is going to do more damage. We got to move up archers and position horse archers off to the flank, because it's not like we can just brood our way through yet. They've got horse archers still peppering us. That's not too bad. I've got some camels for those motherfuckers. Kill them. Camel attack. The cavalry engages. Shock troops are right behind them. In fact, at this stage, the 3rd Division is probably shock troops and cavalry. I'm not even going to pause that part. Yeah, now I see. They have 150 or 115 cavalry and 51 shock troops, which is good, right? Some beautiful pairing. Let's see what it looks like over this ridge. There's ominous silence from the enemy. They must be regrouping. Is that? Oh, those are our units. Where's the enemy? They're all dead? There they are. There's a giant fucking horse horde of them, and those are elite troops. I can tell at a distance. They got legionnaires. They got a bunch of elite archers in there. This is going to be a bitch. That is 300 and something, 330 troops, and we're going to try to swallow it up here. Now, they're going to get reinforcements right on us, so this is a death charge. Once we engage this huge fucking block here, there is no retreating. Let's get archers behind them here. Let's get some guys on a flank, and let's fucking bore through this shit, right? 1st, 3rd, and 6th coming up. These guys are angry. The cavalry is coming in, although I see camels getting obliterated. We've got some heavy blows here. The horse archers and our 8th Corps is coming in on the enemy left. In we go, bitches. You guys want some fucking carnage battles in this campaign. You get them. Look at this many. It's actually too many cavalry. They're like in my way. Let's send these guys out there. We will have them attack. This is actually too crowded. You can't have too many cavalry in a small area, and they will bottle themselves up where they're not moving. You want them moving fast. If they're moving slow, they get killed. And the enemy just charged. We got ourselves a brawl. Fucking kicked that guy to death. They got archers trying to reform. Fuck no. We're chasing every single one of you bitches down. Got an axe for your face. Oh shit. I'm surrounded here. I gotta be very careful. Now, I came in at this stage of the battle with very good looking health, so I can afford to do a little Conan the Barbarian shit here. But obviously, if I get dropped, the AI will do incredibly stupid things. Damn, these guys are fucking parrying well. It's messy in the middle here. They are getting reinforcements right in the middle of this, so we're just going to have to death charge this huge lot. They're just chasing me. I got a posse chasing me. Motherfuckers. I'm going to carve a path through all your friends while you guys chase me. Come on! We like guys facing the other way. Charge! That guy tried to fucking sneak javelin attack, motherfuckers. Our archers are poorly positioned here. They came over that ridge. I think it's better just to charge at these guys. I could try getting them up on the right, but that movement time, there'd be a lot of death. Maybe we can get them off to our right. I said right. Eventually our right. I think there will be a little bit of space over there on those hills. Right now, I'm just trying not to get killed, though. Half my health. I got the whirligig sword going, though. Wazu is fucking causing fear and discontent. Only his athleticism allows you to do this shit. Now, his axe is not super fast. It's not like one of those 100 speed axes, but it's fast enough that I can jockey with almost anybody. And, of course, he's got elite armor. We're just going to wade through. These are mediocre troops. There's actually peasants in here, but it's a slugfest, right? Every once in a while, I see a huge bunch of green death spam and then a huge bunch of red. This is a seesaw battle. We're going to lose some troops here as we move archers to the flank. I just think this would be more effective, though. We can get all these guys shooting down into the fucking enemy ranks. God, they brought up cavalry and a whole bunch more archers. Motherfuckers. Bunch of cavalry coming in on our archers. Get the fuck out of here. Got to avoid a spear. I can get killed by one charging spear at this stage. Fuck, it's close. Oh, fuckers. So satisfying just to wield a two-handed axe and just chop guys to shreds. Even though these guys are blocking like fucking Jet Li and shit, of course, because they have those aforementioned strong lords. I mean, 100 damage to archers and they just keep coming. That guy got knocked down by a fucking fleeing horse. It's carnage. Get off. We like lightly armored horses. Chop these guys to ribbons. I still got archers charging. That means they're out of ammo here on the flank. We're obliterating horsemen. Okay, there's the main body of our troops is pouring through the middle here. I think we've got it, but man, was this bloody. It's not over yet either. They're charging in with heavy cav. Fuck you. I mean, these are medium heavy cav. These are not the worst. I think that was it. I think they just turned to flee. No. All of a sudden, they're like, attack. They want some more. This Southern Empire force is fighting like fucking demons. Maybe that was it. They yelled attack and then they ran. They wanted to be seen as brave, right? That guy was like, attack! And then he wheeled his horse and ran off. What a fucking brawl that was, huh? That was exhilarating. And that has been a theme in this campaign, man. You power up the enemy here, it is just a slugfest. We barely survived, but barely survived is just as good as throttling your enemy. Now, we suffered a lot of losses here. This might slow down our invasion into the Southern Empire. I mean, one thing I can do is I can run quickly to Dadustica and get some reinforcements. But I want to take this castle, right? We've got this, I think it's Tamna or something, castle nearby. We get some troops here. I can't really deal with any of these prisoners. I might take a few of the choicest ones. But I want to have at least one positive thing besides destroying that large force out of this invasion, right? I want to try to gain some ground this way. It's always disappointing when you have a campaign in a certain direction and you don't actually gain any territory. In the north, of course, we're holding back the storm, or more accurately, our companion army is holding back the storm here. It's our job here. Look at these villagers are fleeing. There's two soldiers and a bunch of villagers rightfully fleeing. If they saw that battle, they'd be running as fast as they could out of here. All right, so we get a little bit of reinforcements here, but I'm in a vulnerable state. And if another army of 2,000 comes through right now, we're just going to have to run. So the Sturgeons are they're under siege there. That's the Aserai. I was trying to understand what was going on there. The Aserai are probably, I think that's the Aserai sieging Sironia. In fact, I'm almost certain. Jaim the Prince, unfortunately, looks like he's wandering north. That's not a good outcome. Usually, the deeper they go into enemy territory, the more likely they are to be captured. And I'm just going to chance it. This castle actually has more defenders than we have attackers right now, but we'll do some healing, and half of their force is militia. We need a base. What I really want is it Ayakis or Hubyar? I really want to take a city on the other side here. Part of the reason is that I don't know if you know the map, probably. Obviously, you don't know as well as me, perhaps. The Aserai own Razi. That's the city that you can see the boat and shit right there. Just to the south of us, the Aserai have a city, and that's sort of a base for us, but we can't stock a garrison there, right? I want to have a city where I can have 500 troops and start to make our invasion. Just like the United States military, right? They've got bases all over the place, so they can instantly have 10,000 Marines on boots on the ground wherever they go. I understand there's an international audience listening to that. That probably is like, fuck you, imperialists. I'm not saying I'm for that. I'm just explaining that's how that works. I'm one of those guys, support our troops. Let's get them the fuck back to the United States, right? Let's stop fucking being in nonstop wars. Of course, there are some battles and some wars you need to engage in, like World War II. It's the most obvious case of the last 100 years. But a lot of these proxy battles are not so good, right? You end up killing a bunch of fucking people, ours and their, and you just would rather everybody just came home. That's almost a bipartisan thing, too, by the way. Fortunately, in the United States right now, and there's a cycle, but right now there's not a lot of warmongering, right? There are times where the United States is warmongering, especially after a 9/11 attacks. Half the country was like, let's kill everybody. The other half was like, well, we should do something. Can't just have people killing our citizens. But right now, there's very much a bring them all home attitude by both political parties. So that's a good development. Doesn't mean the United States is just packing it in. It just means protecting the troops. Well, another beautiful setting here. The settings in these Aserai landscapes are part of the reason I'm doing an Aserai campaign right now. I'm looking out the window here. It's the winter time in the Pacific Northwest. It's cold and dreary. It's gray. I haven't seen the sun in 4 days. That's not entirely true. That's often the case. I actually saw it yesterday, but you get the point. The sun doesn't shine very much here, and when it does, it's fucking a pale, weak-ass sun, right? The southern, or the southern, I almost said the Southern Empire. The Southern Hemisphere has all the sun right now, right? The old tilting and rotating of the Earth. Look at these motherfuckers. I can plainly see them here, and these guys are on a catapult. Fuck you guys. But anyways, the point is the Aserai landscapes feel warm, right? I like crank the heater up in my study. They're trying to throw rocks, I think. You motherfuckers. Let's get these ladders up in a hurry. I want those fucking guys off those rocks. They're probably going to throw rocks at our troops down here. You don't see the enemy do that very often. In fact, I can't ever remember seeing it like this. Look at that guy. He's standing there holding a rock. Fuck you. I got a javelin for your shoulder. You sack of shit. I'm going up there. We're taking those rocks. Look at this guy. This is pretty rad, actually. I mean, if I wasn't standing here, he would have brained a couple of guys already. Chucked rocks on their heads. In fact, we got to be careful here. Maybe he'll throw it at us. Look at that shit. It looks hilarious. Motherfuckers throwing rocks. Oh shit, let's hold our shield up. You throw it at us. Oh, you asshole. Fucking drilled me with a rock. I mean, of course I'm saying you asshole, but I actually love it. I think that's great. The AI rarely does shit that feels realistic. That felt really realistic. All right. Oh shit, I just got drilled by another rock. I got knocked to the ground. As is often the case, when Wazu enters a keep, the people flee. Look at that. I mean, I know it was coincidence, but they literally fled as soon as Wazu got to the walls. That looked pretty ironic. All right, now they're fighting. These motherfuckers are going to yield. We're going to make them yield, right, and kick these guys out of our way. I want those rocks. I'm throwing these rocks. I got a little revenge. I decked that guy while he's trying to carry his rock. I'll have to slow-mo some of this shit because it is... it is hilarious when these guys are running around trying to throw boulders at you and they get decked by an axe. All right, I got 3 of these motherfuckers for some payback. You bitches down there, yeah, you're not defending for long. I'm gonna chuck rocks at you just like you were doing to us a second ago. Yeah, my health is down by half by rock damage. They just smashed me with rocks. Wouldn't that be crazy if you got killed by rocks? That would be, well, that would be incredibly ironic. Just plows his way through battlefield, and then some militia chucking a boulder on his head kills Wazu. Let's hope not. All right, Wazu, this is why they flee, right? This two-handed axe just shredding everybody, and 288 weapon skill. Obviously, I've had a character that was level 50 something, and then you have 330 weapon skill, then you're a true god, right? This is like demigod. This is, he's like a Maya from the Silmarillion. He's not one of the, I don't remember the name of the actual gods, but if you're not familiar with it, Silmarillion's another J.R. Tolkien book. It's a really good precursor to the whole Lord of the Rings and shit like that, and it talks about demigods and gods. Well, I'm sure I just confused 90% of the people listening. Anyways, Wazu is not a god yet. He's extremely strong, but with his two-handed skill at 280 something, I think his throwing's like at 270 or 260. He's obviously not a god. Now, he's ferocious, right? These poor troops here are about to realize that they just got ambushed by one guy, and it's not going to go particularly well for him, right? He's yelling, "See you in hell," as he chops him up. These guys all trying to make it to the front gate to reinforce things, and we just cut down 15 or 20 before they could do so. That's a fucking cons guard. You're dead, motherfucker. Motherfucker. No, block. Fuck. Well, I don't know for sure. I don't want to make excuses. It's going to sound like an excuse, but... And I'm not very good at blocking. I'll just put that out there. But twice in a row, I held my... Anyways, I was trying to block there. I think I have one of the settings. Some of the settings get reset. If you guys have ever experienced it, where your game gets reloaded, and you make the mistake of saying reload in safe mode or whatever. Unfortunately, it reloads a lot of your settings, and I think my block is still set to movement instead of look. I like it set to look. That way, anyways. That's a long way of saying that. That surprised me that cons guard. Of course, it's a cons guard, right? And they're deadly. And I was just saying how Wazu is tough, but not not a god, right? That was, he got humbled right there by a consguard. It was like 2 direct shots to his head, and it did half his health. Of course, you know, oh shit, kick a guy to death. Of course, you guys who are playing Bannerlord, you know, and you've only been playing for a week, 1 shot from a consguard's glaive will kill a lot of guys. So if you don't have good armor, it's just insta-death. Obviously, Wazuban has great armor, and it still owned the fuck out of him. So we've got this little break skull guy. This is a new character, as you can see by how slow he is. But we need some of these guys, right? I need more melee champions or heroes or captains or whatever you call them, because what we're going to be doing eventually is taking some of these higher ranking ones and turning them into nobles, right? Turning them into nobles with fiefs. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do. I'll probably do 3. I've seen people do like 20 in a campaign, and that just seems incredibly convoluted to me. God damn it. We're getting dropped like a ragdoll here. I want someone inside the keep, not somebody outside. I don't want to fucking go up the ladders for the 9th time. Anyways, I just looked up at the power bar. This siege is over, so I'll talk a little bit about the companion armies. It's nice, right? There's a very cool realism element of it. It makes the game feel like you're more, I guess, like you're more invested. You have all these guys running around, and they do shit on their own, right? You're no longer by yourself. They'll form armies like Jaim the Prince. They will upgrade castles. They will capture guys and raid villages and do all kinds of shit. Now, unfortunately, it's the AI, so they will also, suicide on the enemy and get captured and other frustrating shit. They will beg for peace, even though you're throttling the enemy and you should be just being offensive. Let me check this setting. It's under, what's this shit? No. I think it's under gameplay. Yeah, see, I do have this set wrong. Anyways, so we'll fix that, make some adjustments here. The nobles is really a good thing for Bannerlord, and we're gonna do more here. Now, there's rules to it. What I mean by that is you don't want to just give any old person a fief. Let me look at this castle too. You want to get guys a fief who are going to be able to fight for it, who are going to be a good leader. A lot of times I will choose a good leader, someone with medicine skill and steward and shit like that. So that's a really interesting part of Bannerlord, one of the parts that I really enjoy the most. All right, well, we've got our castle here now. Smashed our way through Tamna Castle, and now it's time to start putting on a beatdown on this Southern Empire, right? I want to take... I think it's Hubyar. I think Hubyar is the castle, or the city, excuse me, to the furthest east. That's our target. But looking at how beat up our army is between this castle siege and that incredibly bloody battle against that large Southern Empire force, I actually think it makes sense for us to... Oh, shit. Beautiful. Basically the best arrows in the game you can find. I mean, it's not basically. It is the best arrows you can find. We don't have a lot of archers, but the few we do are now going to be decked out with nasty arrows. Anyways, we're going to continue our invasion here. We're going to plow our way through the south. I think I got a saved game in already. I save a lot of times after or before a castle siege because unfortunately the battle size mod does tend to get a little bit buggy. So a little bit of maintenance here and we'll be right back. Pop in a few more perks here. Garrison's all set. Now Tamnu Castle. A lot of these perks are just, they don't really matter that much. A lot of them I've already covered for some of these companions. Not every single companion going to talk about the same thing. I'm trying not to bore you fellas to death. That's why we skipped the whole garrison cleansing process. I'm growing more and more concerned about my army in the north here. Their numbers are dwindling, of course, with each battle. It's surprising, actually, that they've had this much success already. And I kind of want to stop while we're ahead. We got a herding problem here. I got too many cavalry. I hate to do this. I wish I had a store to sell, but also money at this stage of the campaign is not that relevant. We can dump these horses on the wayside, and some lucky traveler can run into them. I actually don't think that's how it works. I think these horses just vanish. But we've got a significantly over, we got a herding penalty going on here. And I'm a little bit in a hurry. I'm always kind of a little bit in a hurry in this campaign because of that kind of shit, right? There's non-stop cities under siege. And my concern is growing for this guy here, right? The gambling analogies, I don't want to press my luck here, right? When you go to a casino, now this guy's won like 5 or 6 battles now with this army. When you go to a casino and you win, you know, if you sit down at a blackjack table, I do a little bit of gambling from time to time. I'm a mathematical gambler. I don't play unless it's a pretty damn close to, I don't do like the slots, which are just horrendous odds. But when you go to a casino, if you sit down with $200 and start playing craps and you get to $1,000, leave immediately. Like, don't keep pressing your luck, right? When you win a bunch of money, and then don't go back for months, right? That's the whole idea, is they count on you coming back and giving them all their money back. So this is a situation here. I'm gonna move some troops around here, see if I can juggle and chew gum at the same time here. What I'm basically going to do is try to lighten our load a little bit, dump off some of these horses. The food situation is now recovering here in Danustica, but I'm also going to gather some troops. I really am thinking of heading north instead. I know I said we're going to make a run into the Southern Empire, and we are. We're going to definitely make a run into the Southern Empire here, but I think I want to get up there and add troops to these companions of ours, right? This army up there, one of the things you can do is you can shove them full of troops. Now, you can't while they're in an army, but I want them to reform an army anyways, right? I want them to get more companions involved. I want them to have a larger army so I can run up there, add some troops to those armies, disassemble the army first, add some troops to it, and then we can make a run into the Southern Empire. These guys, again, they've won 5 or 6 battles in a row up there. So we're gonna take some of the higher end troops here from Danustica. Danustica is one of our main troop stashes. I'm surprised we don't have master archers. I've been stocking away high level troops here for a while, but I don't see any. 302 troops. We'll take a bunch of these elite troops though. I'm actually going to get overstocked here. Oh shit, here they are. They're at the bottom of the, I got the panels on the wrong little organizing scheme. I usually do quality at the top. Shit, now I'm probably significantly overstaffed. How many people can I give? Oh, that's right. They have both companions up there. Actually, I just kind of fucked up, and maybe I'll edit this out or something like that. Anyways, the analogy is very simple, right? This army is rolling around. We got to get up there and either give them more troops at least, or help them quell this fucking Khazate uprising. Obviously, we're the ones invading the Khazate territory here. I'm going to have to dump some of these troops back on. Otherwise, we'll get mass desertion. I wish I had 2 companions with us because it's a lot easier to shuttle troops. If I give troops to these minor clans, you can't get them back, right? It's a one-way street. So I can give them some of the scrubbier troops that we picked up here. But I kind of hate doing this. Now, I'll do this for sure. We're going to make an invasion of the Southern Empire, but before we do that, I think we're going to load these armies up. Here's what I'm going to do. I just came up with a plan. We're going to go up there. We're going to load those armies up in the north. Then we're going to come south. We'll let them form an army up there again. Then we'll come south, come back to Danustica, load up troops, and head south. Although my brain just went squirrel and said maybe we'll just collect all the units there. I want to make a major invasion into the south. First, it's Wazu Bon's homeland, right? It's his father's origin is Hubyar and Ayakis. We want to take those cities and add them to our culture. And I kind of want to do both, right? I need more companions at this stage. We need some minor clans to join us, or we need to make more clans within the kingdom itself. Both of those things are kind of we're asking for a lot, right? These minor clans keep running away from us. This guy's chasing somebody, it looks like. He's running all over the place. I'm gonna race up there just in case he gets attacked. And then we will sort out his army. He's done a magnificent job, right? I'd be going up there to give the guy a hug and shake his hand and give him a promotion to fucking captain or some shit like that. I mean, I guess he's already a lord or whatever. Maybe they're emirs too. I suppose if you're Aserai culture, they call them emirs or something like that. We'll see. Anyways, of course, doing quests all along the way. Although there's too many, he wants too many troops to do that shit. I know I'm wasting your time here. Sometimes you're just gonna have to bear with me in this campaign. These are, you know, you can sort of, I will try to tell you what's going through my brain, right? I want to rescue this guy before he does get captured. This guy, if we stayed down there for another half hour, he's going to get captured. It's not maybe, it's for sure. The AI only does a decent job so long, and he's losing troops. Now, we like this, right? The sturgeons, oh, whoops, no, we don't. I'm sorry. That's the Aserai getting beaten up by the sturgeons. I thought it was the other way around. And our army is pretty strong, right? This is big enough for us to invade. Oh, hey, we've got a new gal joining the party, which is great, right? Because we need some spouses, too. We're going to marry somebody off to Jaime the Prince. It might even be this gal, this Shatha. You know, he's gonna need a wife, a nice young fertile wife, right? That seems kind of barbaric, but that's the way it is. Oh, they are getting attacked. It's close though. I'm glad we're arriving because we're gonna be able to. Whoa. Well, we're not a minute fucking too late here. I mean, I hope we're racing in here. This is exactly what I was talking about. This guy was absolutely toast if we arrived. Even 15 minutes later, right? He's captured all these Khazate rampage. That's the other thing, right? Right now, we've got the upper hand on the Khazate. If he gets captured here, if we lose this battle, they're going to start steamrolling our cities. So I'm not going to say it's a must-win. There's no such thing at this stage of the campaign as a must-win, but this is another vital battle, right? We must rescue this companion. He's our only companion clan, and obviously, if we lose, we'll have to tuck tail and run. Wazu doesn't like doing that shit. So they dumped us in. God damn it, they keep doing this to me, even though I got 80,000 troops. I'm tier 27, right? I don't remember this happening a lot to Zuvan. I don't know if I got a setting on different or something. Maybe there's a tactic perk where you're allowed to set your shit up. I know there's a random element to it, and I know, of course, this battle was ongoing, but I did that shit all the time with Zuvan, and I still got in my previous campaign, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Shit, we're at the very back of the map to start the battle. Let's pull off here to the right. Anyways, I don't understand why this keeps doing it, but we're going to adapt, right? I'm going to reorganize these units. I'll explain them more if I get a moment here, but 4th and 5th, that's archers. 6th is well, I was going to say skirmishers. 6th and 1st is infantry. 2nd and 3rd is cavalry. 7th is horse archers, and 8th is our elite knights. Wow, I mean, in theory, they're our elite knights. So we got a ridge to hold here while we assess the situation. It's Khazate, so they're going to have a giant amount of horse archers, and we'll see. Sometimes they're really dumb about it, and they look like they are being less than optimally smart. They're sending in just the 160 horse archers, and the rest of their troops are sitting back. So they're doing us a big favor here. We're going to, although they're getting on our archers kind of quick and shooting them full of holes, I've got the 7th and 8th Division, basically opposite of the enemy here. We're going to drag them in behind the enemy. We'll have the enemy, the 2nd Corps, charge these bitches, right, and basically push them away. At the same time, this 7th and 8th Corps is going to fly in behind them here. The archers will be shooting, and we're going to cause tremendous damage here. They're moving actually a little faster than I anticipated. Actually, this is even more insane. They look like they're charging. They turned around. They were fleeing, and then they turned around, which is suicide. So we like it, right? This is an opportunity for us to really deal them a savage blow here, because the enemy has twice our number here. This is another battle where we're outnumbered 2-1. So doing some savagery here as they try to retreat, cutting these motherfuckers down, hitting them in the face with a battle axe. That'll do it. Now, a lot of these are actually our troops. We have almost, or maybe even more than 100 horse archers. A lot of these are actually in the companion armies. They're part of these Jawal. I guess we have the other one. We have the Jawal and the Gilman. For whatever reason, they have a lot of horse archers. Excuse me, a little frog in my throat here. But that's enough, right? We pushed them away. We did major damage. What we don't want to do is we don't want to engage the enemy. See that distance to their archers? I want that 200 plus. And anytime it's less than 200, we will retreat. Get a little cough. Hopefully you guys don't even notice. So the enemy has a tendency to attack while your units are concentrated, and then it's hoping, I think, that you come in and attack them while they're concentrated. Well, obviously we're not gonna, right? We're just gonna keep pounding their horse archers. You know, it's the old thing, right? When your enemy's making mistakes, don't interrupt them. Now, some people might say, you're exploiting the AI or whatever. Sorta, you know, sure, yeah, whatever. You know, there's cheesier tactics too. Some guys might do this. I think those reinforcements just popped into the battlefield. Some people might cheese it so that as soon as they're out of ammo, then they run. We're not doing shit like that. But if the AI, if their tactic is to send 200 horse archers with us with no support, you know, I'm not gonna. I've said it before. I'm not gonna charge with the rest of our troops and get shot from behind. Right? We'll focus on what's there. We're already giving the enemy enough advantages here. We don't need to act stupid with our tactics too. So the other reason I'm doing this is a lot of guys struggle with X8 or the game in general. It's a very difficult game. So I'm happy to show you how to obliterate a foe like this. I mean, this doesn't guarantee victory, but man, it makes it a lot easier when their 200 horse archers just self-immolate. This is like that monk in 1967 in Vietnam who lit himself on fire and just burned himself to death. The X8 here are self-immolating. They're charging our entrenched archers, cav lines in front of them. This is absolute suicide, right? These guys, we're going to get a 10 to 1 KDR or better out of these exchanges, right? I come in with my 28-foot pole arm and cut guys down. There's very little risk for our troops, right? Because a lot of them are in shield wall, the archers are in shield wall, and the archers are just unloading on their forces. That was a completely destructive volley there. I don't know. I'm not going to look at the status bar. I don't do that during battle, but I bet we have a 50 to 1 KDR, and it has caused the rest of their troops to charge, which is even better for us, right? Again, if you're in a situation like this, if you can force the enemy to charge you, that you want to do that, right? That's an advantage for you. Now they have a weird formation. They have like a columnar cavalry line. I don't know if I've ever seen the AI do something like that. We'll see how that works out, if they're going to shift to a skein or something like that. I don't have like RBM or anything loaded, so it's really interesting to see them just come up with something that I've never seen before, and I have literally fought 1,000 battles in Bannerlord. That's a pretty interesting phenomenon. We're going to create our V formations here as usual, right? We're going to bring our 1st and 6th Infantry to create essentially a V at the center of our formation, right where our archers and crossbows concentrated. 7th and 8th Corps are pushed off to both sides. That's our mobile horse archer unit. They're in a giant column form. Look at that shit. That is strange. It looks like it actually forms a cross, almost like what are we fighting? The Crusaders here in the 1150 area? Is this Guy de Lusignan or whatever? You know, René de Chatillon, all these fucking legends from that movie Kingdom of Heaven. A lot of them are barely sort of quasi historically accurate. It's kind of, it's an amalgamation of different characters. The whole Battle of Hattin, it's a really interesting period. I need to talk about that era a little bit more. And Saladin, right? This amazing Muslim Arabic general of the era. All right, so their cav charges our shield walls. The infantry charges on that side over here. Our archers are raking. It's a massacre. We've got shock troops here in the 6th Corps just waiting for me to unleash them. Took a spear there, but that's okay. Got a good helm on. Oh shit, that was a finger fumble. You'll never see me speed up a critical battle like this intentionally. At least not at this stage. Backing up a few units here, right, because their infantry is coming in. The cavalry's been skewered. We're just systematically destroying their units one after another. So let's surround this infantry vanguard. 1st on this side, 6th on the other. We can surround them with cavalry. 2nd, 7th, and 8th in a giant envelopment process. And this is going to be destructive. I don't have clear skirmishers or a shock troop division, right? These guys are heavily mixed because it just dumped us into battle. But it's still going to work really well. They are caught in a pincher here. It's very much Hannibal at Kenai, right? This is a very common tactic, difficult at Bannerlord, and they're causing some damage because they have Banner Knights and all kinds of high-level troops here, right? They got enemy lords swinging at me. They got all kinds of dark hands and elite infantry in here. So it's bloody, but we like this overall result, right? Bottom line is that they're going to take the worst of it here. And then our target is going to be all of these archers. Their archers did get into battle. I was hoping that being over the ridge would slow them down. We'll have to make that be a whole bunch of camels slowing these guys down, right? Let's get the 2nd Corps following me. 3rd Corps driving over the hill here. The screen has turned solidly green. And now we're going to truck all these fucking archers, right? I've got a huge amount in the 3rd Corps, basically just going to stampede their way through here. Now, it's a lot of archers, and they're actually spread out, which is good for the enemy, bad for us. But it's still going to be a bad result for the enemy. Look at all these camels. There's got to be 50 camels in our army. It's not the most I've seen. We've had huge camel zergs before, but we have a lot. It's an awesome thing. I don't know what you guys think about it. I fucking love that the Jawal have been part of our rebellion basically from the beginning. Now, I'm already moving up my archers here. This is, you know, this is the kind of thing you only do with confidence and experience. Basically, before these archers are eliminated and pulling back, I'm already positioning archers for the next wave, where we're just like, this would be like crushing your boxing opponent, and while you're punching him, challenging the guy who's ringside, saying, you're next, bitch. Come get some. Right, we're going to throttle you after we fucking mow their archers over. This way, our archers come up, and they're instantly positioned and firing. You know, this is a machine of war at this stage. I've been fighting with this same army now for, you know, what is this, episode 20, 30 something, right? This is a lot of episodes, 37 or something. I've lost count. All right, the battle's definitely not over, right? They're going to have more waves coming. In fact, I see a bunch of cavalry. Motherfuckers are trying to spear me. Calling me a bastard. No, I have a mother, motherfucker. Okay, maybe they didn't get married. You're right. I think that's what the old bastard thing is, right? This is a Catholic Church thing or something. All right, archers moving up on a flank. We can get our cav to move up on a flank too and just have a steaming steamroller of cavalry, right? We can open up the center here for our archers to shoot. Press forward with infantry, cavalry, and archers on this right flank. And what's nice is when the cavalry charge, as soon as they charge, there's nothing but arrows hitting the enemy, right? There's no friendly fire. You could never do this in real life, but it works good in Bannerlord. You got to adapt some of your tactics for Bannerlord, right? The bottom line is that this game doesn't play entirely historically accurate, right? Hence the shield and shock. Now, you would, in real life, lead with cavalry sometimes and then have infantry behind them. But usually when you did that, what you would do is you would do... The cavalry would charge, and your infantry would be, you know, a bit behind them. In Bannerlord, you're not even charging with your cavalry, right? We're just shoving them up there to be meat shields. The real killers are these guys, right? The infantry is far superior, but they do a great job of screening. Look at this. All these camels are in here, and the next thing the enemy sees is my axe hitting their face, right? It's a bad day. This is a massacre. We are just fucking dismembering this Khazate. Frankly, we've dismembered the Khazate the last 7 episodes. There's a little break there when we went down to punish the Southern Empire. But the Khazate, for a little while now, I don't want to say they haven't been a challenge because they still represent a threat. But we have their number at this stage, right? We have an army designed to destroy Khazate forces with a good mix of heavy cavalry and vitally shock troops. Man, you get these shock troops in on these poor archers and their mediocre infantry, and it's Butcher City. Now, I'm taking a little bit more of a beating than I usually do. These fucking tier 2 infantry, ironically, are clubbing me pretty well. But now I'm free with my axe. It's starting to whirl all over the place, and the heads are going to roll. The screen is unbelievably green. Every once in a while, I'll glance up there mid-swing, and it's just 80, 90% green, even though we're outnumbered. Of course, pre-positioning of the archers. You motherfucker. Fucking smash me over the head again. Kill him. They're bringing in archers, right? So what's our answer? Is a big old line of camels right in their fucking face, right? Basically absorb the arrows for us, right? And give us a little bit of protection while the infantry move up, right? We don't need our palace guards getting shot in the face with arrows. As soon as the camels move in, we start to press in behind them. Right now we've got this giant wall of lead, and as we go through and all the dust and snow settles, it's just dead enemies. They're starting now to get down to peasants and shit, so it's a butcher city here. This is just have a good time. The AI or the developers put this shit in here just to make you feel good, right? Like you get to smash some peasants with your axe and hear their death cry. And there's I could go down still, but there's not much threat to this, right? They got a lot of archers still. This Khazate force seems to be just fucking scrolling to the edge of the map. But with the quality of these troops, a bunch of tier 2 and tier 1, this fucking battle is over. Our army is now condensed, and these guys are just coming through. There's a big glob of them to my right, and every time I look over there, it's just palace guards and fucking Aserai veteran infantry and sergeant crossbow fucking plowing the road, and the enemy's just melting, right? These are nomads and recruits and shit. These guys have no chance. They're trying to poke our cavalrymen. And if you're wondering, right, we have the strength in AI, which makes for tougher enemies. Well, and I've mentioned it before, our Khazate opponent here is exhausted. These troops are fresh out of the tavern, so to speak, right? The Khazate, I don't keep track, of course, but we must have won 15 major battles against the Khazate in the last calendar year, or maybe like half a calendar year. It has been an absolute slaughter, essentially, since we've had war, since we turned our full wrath on them. The only time that they've ever had any chance. Look at this shit. This is incredible. They're gearing up for another charge with 400 peasants. Fuck you then. We charge, bitches. Let's butcher this fucking forest. Kill them all. That's right, right? You're not gonna fucking retreat? We will bury you in this fucking snowy field, motherfuckers. The cavalry charge in and just blow everybody up. The rest of the troops roar. Damn, I'm getting clubbed to death in this episode. These guys are swinging. It seems like they're swinging fast. But it's not going to matter, right? The blue is turning to red in the center of the field here. We're just getting on our full lumberjack swings where you wind up and put a little extra body language into it. And by the way, that causes more damage, if you didn't know that. The game has a pretty good momentum system. And the more you play, the more you'll realize that twisting your torso, just like real life, you do more damage, right? Because you're enabling and using your full swing speed, so to speak. Hopefully, god damn it, man. We lose another scout. This is, I swear, the only people that die in our campaign are our scouts. I know we lost Check the Alone. We lost the other scout companion, and now we've lost Sane, which was our scout that we were leveling up. He was starting to get pretty good. I can't remember if I put the legendary arrows on him or not, but damn it. I can't complain, right? I mean, I am the one activating this mod like a dipshit. I guess we'll just take the realism, right? I will hang my fucking sober head here and remember I'm playing a fucking video game. Doesn't matter. What the fuck's this shit? They got... Oh, yeah, this is probably from raiding. We'll take all these militia. We need troops. We'll shove these militia into a garrison somewhere and say, you work for us now. We need as many troops as we can. And I got all these prisoners here. I'm not near a city, though, right? We got to get over to the city. We still have to deal with Akalat. I think Akalat is still under siege. Take some of the choice prisoners here, even out our units, and then slide on over to Akalat. I'm looking down. This episode is way past what I normally do, but we'll just roll with it. It's the baseball or soccer equivalent of extra time here. We're gonna play on a little bit. I want to get to a nice resting point, and that resting point can hopefully be Akalat once we destroy the force that's there. It makes the bad sound. Sign fell in battle. He has a stupid fucking name. Maybe that's like a Celtic name or something. Sane or some shit. I don't know. He did. We need another scout. We're being all practical here and no sentimentality. I'm not sure we're gonna make it there. Jaime the Prince is, I think he's heading there as well. He's being chased. Fuck you. We'll kill you if you attack. We got 1,000 troops and we're healing up more. Well, who knows what's there, right? There could be 80,000 Khazate. With the strength and AI mod, the enemy really does have massive forces everywhere. You're going to see me continue to do this, right? We don't have our other healer. She's in the other army. The spice vendor, whatever the fuck, Zahara. But every time we can... we are going to send our injured troops over to our healers. We are power leveling these healers, and they're getting close to their climax, right? Their 275 medicine skill. They're really getting, it's slowing way down because they don't have enough attribute points, but they're getting close. What? God damn it. I think that means we lost all those troops too. Oh boy, if you're religious, you probably stopped subscribing to watch the channel a long time ago. I'm not cursing your God. It just slips out. You know, blasphemy. I'd be like burned at the stake 500 years ago. Fortunately, instead, we can just entertain you fellas with some blasphemy. Yeah, you see, look at our troops here. So these tacked the Jawal and shit like that. If I disband these guys, I can't add them to the army. They have 80 troops, 100 troops now with healing. So we're gonna have to destroy this Khazate force. And this is a formality, of course. Feel free to go to the bathroom. I am going to fight it out, though, because I don't want to suffer 300 losses to the auto-resolve. We will fight this battle in a hurry. Get these guys put in the 8th Corps. Actually, you know what this is? Ordinarily, I just go across the valley. Let's try reverse slope defense. I'll give you another way to fight this battle. We are down in the valley. Let's just say the enemy was almost on us, and we were forced to fight in this unfortunate position. What I mean by that is with the enemy having the clear elevational advantage. Let's do some reverse slope decline defense here. We have almost... well, not half, but we have like 35-40% of our army is archers. Actually, we probably do have 50% that are archers because we have 122 horse archers. So we'll get these archers moved up quickly. I will take a close look at the angles and try to basically explain what I'm looking at and what decisions I'm making based on what I see. As long as we can get there pretty quickly, and I'm just going to charge out of the gates. You know, just F1, F3, right? That's the strategy for this. At the beginning anyways, right? F1, F3, everybody charges. I'm just doing this so that everybody moves towards the enemy as soon as possible and doesn't get stuck on each other. Now that we're closer, I'll start to lay out the lines. It really comes down to this. When you're looking up there, if there's a grade where the enemy can stand on, that's close to you. In other words, or excuse me, that's sort of far from you. Like that over to the left here is a lot more vulnerable because the enemy can start to spread out way before they get to us. In other words, they can shoot at us and get spread out before we can pound them with ammo. So I'm gonna default here to the right side, and we're basically going to use these sharper ridges. Now, that's the best way to describe the sharpness. You don't want it to be gently sloping. There must be at some point something that is steep. And obviously this ridge is plenty steep enough here that I'm on right now, right? It's very steep. That way the enemy has to come over, right, and peek their head over, hence the name that I gave this tactic. The reverse slope decline is the military tactic used for it. This is a very infrequently used military tactic in history, but it's extraordinarily effective in Bannerlord. Now they're beating us to the punch just a little bit. In fact, they're rushing in with infantry faster than I expected. These horse archers, I'd like to slide some behind them. 352 infantry. The other thing, the reverse slope declines is usually more for archers, and I didn't look, but this XXXIV force has way more infantry than I thought. Almost half their army is infantry. So we will start to slide around. It's a quasi-kill box now. Fuck, they're probably already on our archers here. They're moving in fast with infantry. Shit, these guys already are. All right, the 6th Corps at least can tuck in behind him. We can also get the 8th Corps tucked in behind him. That'll mean javelins raining down on the enemy. And of course, we can charge with those guys as well. Let's see if we can get these troops moved back in time. There's going to be some collisions. I see some of the archers just getting trucked by these peasants. And this is a manifestly weaker XXXIV force. In their first wave, and granted they only have 800 troops, but in their first wave, they have some low-level troops. Footmen and recruits and shit. So get the 2nd Corps over there just to screen that 100 horse archers. I didn't really pay that close attention to their horse archers, so that'll cost us some losses. Our archers are getting tangled up here a bit, but our 1st, 3rd, and 6th are now in a really good position, and these guys can bore in. We're going to blast this XXXIV force off the battlefield quick. Now, obviously, we could have F1, F3. I bet we suffer 150, 200 losses, though. Maybe we can get it under 100 here, even with a few snafus. I definitely should have anticipated or looked at their force composition. That's an important consideration. Your force composition of your enemy, right? If they're mostly archers, if they're mostly infantry, you need to know this as a battlefield commander. Information is power. Sun Tzu would say the key to all warfare is deception. Or, on your own side, the key to all warfare is information, right? The key to is a giant polearm where you can just truck guys 20 feet away. They have archers left, but that was a complete shellacking of that main infantry wave. 352 infantry, and they probably got 20 kills. All right, I don't have, evidently, uphill. Wazu doesn't have great range. He does not have, 330 throwing. I want to say Zuvan had 300 and something, 306 or something, 302. So Wazu is considerably weaker than Zuvan. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, this is my previous character from another campaign. He was level 50-something, and he was a beast. He shredded it. He had 330 two-handed. He had fucking 330 athleticism. He was not the ground battle commander, though, that Wazuban is, right? This guy's got approaching 330. He will eventually have 330 medicine, steward, and not leadership, 330 medicine, steward, and engineering, which is amazingly powerful for a campaign. That basically means you're a boss at sieges, right? You're the best possible siege artist in the game. You have a big army with your steward skill. You have all the benefits of this steward skill, so they're eating less money or eating less food. I guess they eat money too. They're eating less food and money. And obviously they have all the extra hit points from the medicine skill and less casualties, etc. It's an amazing trio, and it's part of the reason that he has 10 points at it, right? I just think you can spec all kinds of different ways in Bannerlord and have success. I'm kind of hiding because I have 0 health, literally 0. I don't want to die ignominiously at the end of the battle. Some little peasant stabbed me in the back with a pitchfork, and Wazuban was killed. Anyways, his 10 intelligence is going to lead to a lot of battles like this, where even though we were badly outnumbered, it's a devastating destruction. Actually, I beg your pardon. The previous battle, I was like, where I thought. Yeah, never mind. The previous battle, that battle was a formality and very acceptable losses. A little variation there. We will, if we're going to fight the same battle 3-4 times on the channel, I will try to make sure I put variety in. I will try not to fight the exact same battle the exact same way, or if I do, it'll be 40 episodes apart where I can't even remember that I did it, so long ago. Episode 6, we had such and such battle. We will probably fight some battles fairly similar in a secondary manner. All right, hopefully he comes here. It looks like it. We're trudging our way into Akalat, full of prisoners and full of loot and stuff like that. He's got 600 troops. I think I'll wait until he arrives at the city. That way they can dump all their prisoners and stay cohesive. But you know what? I think this is a really good spot to end the episode. In fact, this episode has gone longer than I anticipated. So what I'm going to do here, and just explaining this in case I decide not to include it in the next episode. First, I'm going to give this guy some money. We can marry some people. See, he's looking for somebody. I think both for himself first, and then his other clan members. But let's give this guy some money. He's got 270,000. Let's give him $500,000 because I want this guy recruiting, and I want him stacking his garrison at Hassan Folk, right? He's the clan leader at Hassan Folk. If you give them money, they're way more likely to recruit troops, have a big garrison, build up a big army themselves, etc. Right? Those are all necessary components. And again, so just to explain what I'm going to do here, by the time you see the next episode, and I may include it, we're going to disband these two armies and then load them with troops, head to Danustica, load them with even more troops, and I think we're going to make a giant southern invasion here. I think we're going to ignore the north at our own peril and fuck up some Regea and company. What do you fellas think, right? All right, so if you want to see more from this campaign, right, you guys want to subscribe, please leave any comments you like, even fucking criticism. It's fine, fellas. Hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time.